Sergeant Beast Larson. Correction Officers and Informants Part 2. I did Part 1, why we need informants in the prison, in the jail setting, and got some interesting feedback, enough that I want to continue this conversation. There's some that believe that you should, it's very valuable, and some that say, no, you don't need them, they're just inmates, they're prisoners, they're criminals, liars, and thieves, why should you trust them? So I'm going to present this in this way. This week, in March of 2021, was the big mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado at the grocery store. 10 people were killed, 1 police officer was killed. Also this month in Atlanta, Georgia, a young man, both of these were young, a young man attacked and shot, I believe, 7 in Atlanta, Georgia, outside a massage parlor. Now think about this. If you're a supervisor, you're an investigator, you're an experienced officer in a prison, and you get information and inmate comes to you and says, hey, look, you know, I'm in this gang, I'm this, I need help, but my guys, my people are talking about doing a big shooting at a grocery store, and you ignore that, and a couple days, a month later, there's a mass shooting with people killed. That's a reason to have informants. That's a reason to be able to question and interview them, have investigators, have somebody interview them, get some specific details. You could prevent a mass shooting. You could prevent several incidents similar to that. I believe it's almost 4 years ago now in Georgia, the 2 transport officers were killed on the bus by 2 gang members. Aryan Brotherhood and Ghostface Gangster were involved in that escape and that murder. Now that had been plotted. And a head Ghostface Gangster and the Ghostface guy that was on the bus that day, both were at the prison I was at. They both left shortly before this incident. They got transferred to another prison for mental health evaluation. That's where they met this other inmate from the Aryan Brotherhood. A plan was formulated. They knew they were going to be transferred. They played this to get mental health, to get to the same prison together. This was all planned, pre-planned. They get to the mental health, they get the evaluation, they get reassigned, all to the same place. Therefore, they're going to be on the bus together. So on the bus, the escape plan has already been planned out. They already had an idea. They know who was going to be driving. They knew the officers. They were familiar with them, the bus, the routine. If you hear as an officer or as a sergeant that there's going to be an attempted escape on a bus route from somebody who wants to become an informant, is that not valuable information? Those 2 officers lost their lives. Informants could have possibly saved and prevented that, could it not? So I just want to, this is not going to be an hour-long debate, hour-long video. I'm not presenting this to a class for an hour. It's not an open discussion. This is pretty much cut and dry. There are horrific, terrible incidents that are happening here in the United States. The people that commit these tend to have been incarcerated previously. There's a pattern. So people being incarcerated, and you see this pattern of violence, good to pay attention to them, good to pay attention to those who are around you. Goes back to another video I made. Should you know why the inmates are incarcerated? Why are they doing life, 20 years, whatever? Should you know that? Yes, you treat everybody equally, fair, firm, and consistent, but it helps to know, because building intelligence, building information could lead up to preventing the slaughter of people, because that's what it comes down to. So I raise my hand, yes. Both hands, yes. I have used informants as a police officer. I've used informants in a correction setting, in a prison. Very valuable. It's not just snitching on somebody for a honey bun or extra hamburger hot dog on you know, or a chicken box on chicken day. There's much greater, much bigger picture than this little scope. You got to think way outside a box. How can this help? So guys, if you run across COs, you run across information like this, you're told, gather some stuff, get enough information, you can present it to somebody, instruct them, obviously not to talk to anybody else until you get back to them. And you're going to watch and see if he does. If they start blabbing their mouth, you'll know. Get somebody higher ranked that can handle these informants correctly and legally, get them interviewed, and have that information passed up the chain. Do your part, help prevent a terrible incident like we just had this week in Boulder, Colorado. Thanks, hit the like button, hit the share. As always, post your comments, continue this debate. Thanks, I'll see you soon.